Dear all, uh, we are going to study about the software contract. A software contract is a binding agreement between the owner of a software product and a buyer. So when we are going for developing a software, a client and the developer or the company who is developing the software, they should be have some concern. So as we have discussed in the software requirement specification that satisfying the client is a very tedious task. So it's very hard for a developer, it's very hard for the company that all type of requirements from a client must should be satisfied after the development of the software. And a software development is a long-term process which require various types of input. And there is some quality constraint, there are some resource constraint. In future, there are clients who can change his mind for the requirement. And it may be possible that some resources or some persons are left the software development, and sometimes client disagree with your requirement and so on. So we always should have always have we have a software requirement specification in this regard, so that a client and developer can have a mutual agreement. So in that context, software contract is a binding agreement. Means it is a written documentation signed by the both parties about the software product. So we'll discuss about the software contract, what is a software contract, and what are the types of software contract. And we are designing a software contract, what things we should consider while designing a software contract. Next thing, we also go for a software contract template. What are the software contract template and how is it useful to design and software contract? Now, the contract enable the buyers to use the software legally. So it is a legal documentation. So when you are signing a contract with your client, or a client is signing the contract with the developer or the company, it it is used as a legal purpose. So whatever the written inside it, that must be satisfied. So there are no way that you can say that a client is not able to satisfied, or developer has not able to provide the aggregate services to the client, and client will never disagree with the developer's consent. So they should use this document as a legal. So that's why a software contract is a legal document. We can manage and track software contract with the contract management application. So there are different types of tool available, and you can use one of them, or you can develop your own contract management application to tracking the what is happening around the software development, so that what are the terms in the software contract that must be satisfied by the both parties. When we create a new software contract, we can specify the contract is an enterprise or subscription license. So sometimes we develop a software in for some enterprises. So it is a very for a develop for a large base of users, and sometimes we develop a software and make it available to everyone, so that a person who wants to use the software can go for subscribe it for it. Enterprise version, suppose we have developed a ERP system for any organization like our own college. So there should be a different type of software contract, and we are sometimes we are subscribing software, like we are subscribing our MATLAB, which is generally used for our in coding purposes and research purposes. So we get the subscription of that software. So both have some type of contract, and they will notify that what is what are your purpose of developing the software, what are the facility you are going to achieve from that, what are the time it is required to develop, and so on. Custom software development agreement that stipulate the right and responsibility of programmer and a principle of or a customer. So basically, this is agreement constitute of responsibility and the customer's interest. So what are the customer interests and what are the responsibility of programmer, that should be incorporated in this agreement, so that customer interest could not be dissatisfied with time, and the developer responsibility, developer should not deny his responsibility that something has been agreed on earlier and you are not developing that. So customer and programmer will have this type of document to make more responsible and more their principle oriented. It typically comprises of non-exclusive license to use the software and include previously where by a copy of the source code is kept with an agent for release to customers should the program fail to comply with terms of the software development. And second one, insertion of special code in the software through which the programmer may remotely disable the program if the customer fails to comply with his her part of the contract. So sometimes you will have some type of code and software which programmer and client have mutual agreement to should be the programmer comply with the terms of the software development. So sometimes uh, developer will deny this some development code. Sometimes client will require the code. So it should all mention in the software. So sometimes you will get the software and you do not get the code. So you will find out that after some time, if you requiring some updation inside the software, so you are not able to do that. So it should be also mentioned inside your software contract. So that what are the different type of modification if you require in coming future. So that should be incorporated in this system or not. So this is the reference for that part which I have taken here. Software development services contract define the way project is to be delivered and what we are partner are going to receive after the contract completion. So it will define that what is project to be delivered. So when you are downloading any software here, you are purchasing a software, you can go through the contract and find out that what are the different requirement of uh, project and what are the different features which will be provided by the project, and this feature and product will be shared with your partner after the contract completion. What is especially important is the contract determines and partner action and the responsibility in any case of dispute. So in a software development process, when you find out your client will find out that something is not provided with the software, our developer will find out that client is not with their initial requirement, and he is diverted from the initial requirement. So they both can use this document as a uh, legal purpose for any dispute, so that both parties should be agree on some base where they are developing this software. In short, the contract defines the what, when, and how, particularly how much. So you will define inside the software contract what is inside the software, when the software will be developed, finished with the development, and when the software is handed over to the client, and how the software will be developed, how much cost of the software is there, how much resources it required to operate, how much the installation is required, how much resources is required, and how much time it will require. The structure of a custom development agreement is very similar to agreement made by any other services. So it's not a very different thing. When you go for purchasing some like a real estate or any type of services from any company, they will find out that sometimes they have some type of agreement mode. So we go for the notary, we go for the registry where two parties are agree on some terms, some rules, some statement where both parties abide by the rule and no one can deny that this is not agreement in the agreement earlier. So structure of custom developed agreement is same like that. It is also an agreement as other services provided or as with the other services. It should include such common sections such as termination condition, dispute resolution, governing law, and so on. So your software contract should have a termination condition. Software development is a longer process, so sometimes such situation arises where client does not want a software, or developer is not able to develop a software, or he is not able to satisfy the condition of the client. Are there any type of other situations, such as nowadays you can see the pandemic has created a lot of havoc in economy, and the more software companies are getting less projects, some in a continuous project are terminated by the client. So in this condition, software contract will have a termination condition in which it is mentioned that what are the legal foundation of each member, and dispute resolution. So suppose dispute resolution, you are working on a software and you have some dispute. So how can you resolve that in which scenario? Mainly example, we will talk about that if you're developing a software in Delhi and your client is in USA, then you should be agreed on that if for any dispute, the code will be a Delhi code. So that type of dispute resolution must be inside the software contract, so that suppose a developer is our client has any misagreement, so they should be abide that the particular legal reason will be mentioned in the software. And the governing law. So you can follow the existing law of software development by any government authorities or any other business model, or you can define your own law. What are the different laws which will be applicable in the case of any type of uncommon scenario, and so on. So it is not limited to these. You can move on. You can add on more things in it. Constant software development, there are specific things that we should agree with the partner. So, basics of software contract. A custom software contract terms, length of the warranty period. So, suppose you are developing a software, you must mention what are the warranty of a software. So, warranty includes sometimes your software has crashed down, or your software has created some type of hardware failure or some type of problem. So, you have to mention in your software contract that what are the foundation, or what are the legally you are bound to the happen with the software. So it's a warranty. Suppose you have given the 1 year warranty. After that, if anything is happened with the software, so you are not bound for that. If after within a 1 month, if something software crash or anything has happened, so you must be very much responsible for that. You will go to the client and find out the solution and do the something and make it work, or reinstall the software, or provide the update, and so on. So if you discuss about a very common software, that is a Windows 10 operating system. So when you are installing a Windows 10 operating system, you will see some type of warranties information with the Windows 10. It will say that you will use the everything which is a genuine version of a Windows, genuine software. You should not use the pirated one. If you are using any pirated software, then warranty will be void, and so on. So you should be defined that. And one more example is that if you are using the any open source software, so they will strictly mention that if anything will have any case, in case of failure of any hardware or any type of harm to you, or your organization, the software is not responsible for that. So they will clarify that using a software on your own term, and there should not be any bind by the developer or the company to you in case of anything happen economically to you. Terms of the contract. So definitely, what are the contract terms? What are the duration of the contract? How the contract will uh, feasible in the near future. So sometimes you will provide different features with a different time duration. So sometimes you will provide the software on a one time, one payment basis, or you will provide the software on a maintenance basis, or you will provide the software on revenue basis, and so on. So it depends on the contract, what are the different terms you are going to use. Okay, what the vendor will provide and what we will provide. So definitely software contract term, it must be mentioned such that when you're installing the software on a vendor or a company, you are installing a software on a company premises, and you are the developer, so what are the resources that is required by the software should be provided by the company or any client. But if you are not mentioning that, then it should be responsibility of yours that you should provide all the resources. Suppose if you are buying a Windows 10 software, so they will never provide you a laptop. So they are not responsibility that they are providing you any system. So it is a responsibility of yours that you have a hardware devices, and the software will be provided by the Microsoft. Same thing if you are installing the ERP system, so there will be multiple requirement by the client or multiple resource requirement from the software, and both will be mentioned in the contract terms. What are the vendor will provide and what we will provide in that. Measuring by end delivery or per milestone along the way. when you are mentioning in the contract that what are the end delivery product and what are the milestones, suppose within the development of the software, what are your achievement, what will you provide in a 3 month, what will provide after 6 months, or what you will provide after the software delivery. Sometimes what happens when you are developing a software for a larger enterprises, so it's not possible that you will provide the full modules or complete modules to the company. So what will you do? You will provide some few modules in a 3 months. Then after 3 months, you will have few more modules. After 6 months, you will provide the full completion of software and so on. So these things of delivery terms must be mentioned in the contract so that developer and the client will not deny, or they should be mutually agree on that. Adding some extra time for control testing and quality assurance. Every time if you develop a software contract, you must mention what are the extra time which will require for the control testing or quality assurance, because testing and quality is the important part of the software. When a customer will buy a software from you, he or she must be assured that your software will provide the quality, and it must be fault tolerant, it must be scalable. So in a situation of that, if you are working on the software, it crash downs, it should not be affect too much. It can be recovered, it should not hamper your productivity, it should provide the optimum performance and so on. So all these features will come when we provide the efficient testing, will assure the quality of the software, and these things will require more resources, more manpower resources, more time, and it will always done after the completion of software. So every time you will define a contract term, you should mention that what are the different type of. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have lost the connection. No. So next one is adding some extra time for control testing and quality assurance. Providing the software company with the information which will help projects stay in the pros timeline. So when we are developing a software, so company will have some information which is required during the project, so that a company should be in the proposed timeline, and there should not be any timeline mismatch. So software can be delivered in time without any delay and so on. Now, materials. After completed the timeline and terms of the contract, the next step is determining the materials that are necessary for the project. This portion of contract will come from the software development company. So when you are developing a software, you must be assured that what are the different materials that should be required for the software development, and these material or resources must be mentioned inside the contract, that which resources will be provided by the software development company or which resources will be provided by the client. For example of these materials is servers, equipment, staff. When we receive the estimate and contract to sign, documents should include a cost for necessary material. So it should be mentioned that suppose you are installing a software on a client premises and you are using a server, you're requiring a server, and server is costing around 10 lakh rupees. So you should mention that whatever the cost of your software development, that is excluding the server requirement, which is about 10 lakh or approximate in future, that is not included in your software development cost. So it should be mentioned that what are the equipment requirements. So there should be additional equipment requirement that should also be mentioned, that like personal system requirement, router requirement, network equipment requirement, or any type of interfaces requirement like a keyboard, mouse, mic, camera, headphone, and so on, and they stop. So when you are developing a software, it is um, required that a software should be such that it should not require any proper training to the development, but that is not the case of the software development in a real situation. And when you're installing the software on a contract on a client terminal, so you will find out that when you are installing the software, it will require some type of manpower resources. So you should have to provide the proper training to the software. So I have seen some type of situation where a client has client employees does not have a knowledge about the computing. So they are not very much aware about how to operate a system, how to tackle the scenario, how to operate the normal software. So a proper training should be provided to the staff. So you should mention that what are the cost of the training and who will bear the cost. Who will bear the cost? It is a bear by the software development company or the client. And what are the time requirement for it? So it should be all mentioned in that. It should not be like that when you have installed the software, now the client will have to take the training from a third party. If it is so, then you have to mention that also. Custom software document. So software contract don't always include documentation, but around the design or build of the software, if not this one included, you might need to request it from the company. So what are the design and build of the software? That is not required to be mentioned in the documentation, but if you want to mention is that what is the design and build of the software, and you can request the company to mention it inside the software contract. So that suppose you are very much concerned about some specific type of design in the software or a specific build of the software. For example, if you want a software for your as a web version, as a Android version, or you want to find your software on Apple Store, or you or a very specific some specific type of requirements, you should have to mention that what are the build and design of the software. Price breakdown. It is related to how the cost will be transferred, but the breakdown of price should be more detailed. The information included in the contract will ultimately drive the behavior of both parties throughout the project. So, what are the cost of the project? It should be breakdown. It should be mentioned in a parts so that what are the initial phases. Suppose we have discussed that a ERP system will be developed in various modules. So suppose a client required that some specific module will be delivered in 3 months, and additional module will be developed in 6 months, and complete project should be developed in the 12 months. So you should mention what are the price requirement for that in a breakdown pattern, so that ultimately both parties should be satisfied with the situation. Otherwise, what will happen? You will find out that after some time you are in a situation where price will be different, and client will say that you have not provided this, you have not provided this, and you are very much very bind by your cost because you're requiring a very high cost, and client is not giving you so much uh, uh, money to support a cost. So you must aware about what are the price of the software development. You should be break down in a different way. Now, next one is the types of software development content. So till now, any question from here? Any question? I should continue. Should I continue? Okay. I think no question from the your side. So now types of software development contract. So first, there should be different types of software development contracts. It is based on the various measurement. For example, sometimes your software is developed for enterprises. Sometimes you're developing a software for online platform. Sometimes you're developing a software for individuals. Sometimes you're developing a software as a product. So all these features have a different uh, type of priority, different type of scenario, and so on. So first, software development contracts is a time and material. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So types of software development contract. First one is a time and materials. This type of agreement is the most common used in development outsourcing. So when you talk about the time and material contract, so basically it is related to the outsourcing software. So suppose outsourcing software means that if you are developing a software for a client which is somewhere outside of your region, and he is giving you a part of the software. So you are not developing a complete software, you are developing a part of the software, and you are outsourcing to the other persons who will develop the complete software. So you must agreement on the time and material. By signing such type of contract, we agree to pay for the time partner spends working on the project. The number of our time, the hourly rate, simply as that. So when developing such type of project, you will spend on the project based on the hourly rate, or you can depend on the coding rate and so on. So you have defined that if developer is working on your software for 10 hours, so what will you cost for particular hour, what is the cost of your developers capability and so on. So when you go for a software development as a freelancer, you will find out this type of project. So in such kind of project, you will find out that developer will go for charge for on hour basis. So different type of developer will charge differently on hourly basis based on their requirement and based their skills and capabilities. So you can agree with the developer that you will give the hourly charge. If you work on the 10 hours in the development, you will provide this and so on and so on. Okay. There are certain things we should take into account when signing a time and material contract. The very nature of such approach suggests that we agree to pay more if the project takes longer than expected. So it is a very important thing here. Suppose you have developing a software, you are a developer, you have taken more time, and sometimes you are not having very much prescribed that how much time you will require in a development, and sometimes client is not very much assure what is his requirement or what is her requirement. So in such type of nature of the software or approach, it should be clarified in the contract that if the project is taking more than 10 hours as you agreed upon, then you should have to mention what are the charges for that and what are the charges. Are the client will agree for that or not, or so on and so on. Now, the time material approach ensures that the vendor is not rushed to the complete the project within a specific time. Now, if you have agreed with the developer that within a 10 hour you will develop the software, it should be mentioned in the contract that client will not pressurize you that you should develop the software in 10 hours. So there should be agreement, there should be terms such that there should not be any rush to the development of the software. Next type of software contract is a fixed bid. So fixed bid contract define one hand the scope that should be delivered, and on the other hand the fixed price that is to be paid. So suppose you have a client and you are a software development company and you have making a software, you have mentioned on a freelancer website that for particular software for this mobile application I will pay $100. Now there is a fixed price. There is a no bargaining. There is a no something that. Now here, what will suffer? Here suffer the features and the quality. Suppose some developer will provide more features in that particular fixed prices, and sometimes additional developer will provide a less feature in that prices and something. So it is a win situation for a client, and it is a very much contract situation for a developer. This type of agreement is suited for contracting vendors for a small tasks. So here mentioned that if you are developing very small type of software, suppose you want to develop a small application which does not require very dynamic content or which does not require any type of additional features, you can go for that. You will post, you will give the sign with the contract on a fixed bid basis, and the developer will should be agree on that. Fixed bid are quite common on freelance platforms where the customer posts the task and price they are prepared to the pay. So basically, it is used on the freelancer platform where you both party will agree on that and so on. Example, we can sign a fixed bid contract for the test task that we want vendor to complete. Usually, test tasks require building a specific feature or component that will really easy to plan and budget it. If we'll take an example, is that if you have work on the WordPress, WordPress is a content management system (CMS) for a web development. You will find out that if you are using a particular theme and you require some additional feature in the theme, or you require additional component in the theme, you can quote the fixed bid from to the price to the user, and they should be agree on that. Okay, so time is limited. I will take the attendance here first. Now, with one moment. So, with a larger project, fixed bid contract may not work very well, as it mentioned, because a larger project will tends to expand, tends to cost more, so it is not very much working for that. When we choose a fixed bid agreement, we need to do a lot of extremely detailed planning to take care of very little thing in the project. Developer may choose to use some less effective tools and procedure to stay within the budget. So now, next one is a fixed budget. Now, in a fixed budget type of software contract, we'll based on the fixed. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So fixed budget contract is a variety of fixed bid. In this model, project budget is also agreed before the start. However, the scope can change as the development process. So in fixed budget, you have to agreement on the cost. You have agreement on the cost, but scope of the project. Suppose after some development progress, you find out that you will require more development cost, so you can main focus on that. The main idea of this is the within the agreed budget and create as much as possible. So budget should not be expanded, but possibility of features in the software can be expanded at most possible. It is not a good idea for a large project. When budget is tight, this feature is very much helpful. The development company will prioritize the scope so that core features are definitely included. So core feature will be in the software, while expensive things, expensive features should be left out if they are not fulfilling the project. So the model also involves the next one is a cap budget with accelerated bonus. So as it mentioned that you have a fixed budget and budget should not be increased, but accelerated bonus, suppose you are requiring more features or more component of the software, you can contact to the developer, you can contact the project team leaders, and you can agreement on a accelerated or additional prices for the project so that they can be both agree on that. So more or less sure about the budget, there is a risk that the vendor may sacrifice the development quality for time. So it is very hamper for the quality of time and so on. However, the bonus may also encourage the learner team to work as efficient as possible. So it will help the cap bonus, accelerated bonus is a very much helpful for the developer to work as efficiently as possible so that they can provide additional component and which is a win-win situation for both of them. So that is in the software contract all, and I will make sure that you will go for another things and so on. So we'll go for a template, a sample template of the software contract. When you are writing a contract with the client, or when we are agreeing on that, what are the different agreement terms or software contract terms we should have, that should be here. No. So you can start from the software development agreement. You can go through the document. I have already shared with you, and you can find it on the web, Google also, and where you have find out these terms. What are the developer duties, and what are the delivery terms? What are compensation? What are the intellectual property rights in the software? So changes in the specification and so on. Confidentiality, developer warranties, identification, no worries unless in writing, applicable law, and the last, both parties would be agree with a signature and so on. So I will suggest you take the reference of this document and write down a software contract for a mobile application for an e-commerce website. So as an assignment, write down it and submit to the next time. So this is the today's session. Any question from your side?
No, sir.
Okay, Julie.
No, sir.
Okay, Manu. Any question?
Yes, sir.
Any question?
So if you factorize
No,
this,
sir.
you will find
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.